It is the afternoon of November the 13th, and it is unseasonably warm, which we saw was forecasted. It was 71 degrees when I left my truck. I got out here a little early, and I'm really glad I did. I was initially going to talk about the heat and dressing for the weather, and it feels like it's more early October than it is the middle of November. But as I was getting set up and before I was able to get my bow up to me, I happened to look over and I saw two deer heading down behind me to the creek. It turned out to be those two fawns that are with one of the doe groups that I have here on the property. And it was the same ones that I saw yesterday that were trailing Mama. She came out by herself and then had a spike buck that was trailing her. And then the fawns came probably 2 or 3 minutes later, were kind of meandering a little bit behind her. So I'm just wondering if she's in heat, and it's basically kicked them out and they're kind of hanging around. I didn't see Mama at all. But they did teach me something, and I already kind of knew this now that I've had enough experience, but I cannot sit this stand if there is any part of a north wind. What they do is behind me there is a trail that leads down to the creek that they used to get across, and they did exactly that, but because I have a south wind, they did not wind me whatsoever. And so it just is confirmation of what I kind of already knew, but I kind of see what's going on here, especially when you're dealing with thermals. So even if it's light and variable, your wind or your scent will carry up the valley, almost like the opposite direction that water would flow. And then in the evening or the early morning, when it's cooler temperatures, the thermals drop and they follow the flow of the water or the direction of that water would go. And so that's why right now I'm pretty safe, even though I'm actually upwind of where deer could come from the plot that I call the thin strip. Because of the thermals, it'll likely carry my scent up and over them. So this is a pretty good stand for any type of south wind. But any kind of north wind, I cannot sit here at all. I will get busted. So that is why knowing your land, knowing your property, is absolutely critical. So that was pretty fun. So much about successful hunting when you have private property is knowing your land and learning all the nuances. And I know for certain that this year, the whole entire hunting season and before, I have two main doe groups. One older doe, she's bigger, that has a single fawn, and a younger doe that has the twin fawns. And they've been here the whole entire year. I know exactly, well, pretty much where they're probably bedding or some of their beds are. And I know where to avoid. And I know exactly what's going to happen if the wind switches on me. And they are really good about busting me. But they still are around. So it's not spooking them enough to leave. I just got to make sure that I'm being careful. Very seldom do they actually see me. They're just smelling me. But the bottom line is that if you are careful enough how you hunt, and you understand the movement of the does when it comes to the rut, you're going to be giving yourself a distinct advantage. And that's one of the things that I really believe was key the other day when I had an opportunity at that big 10-pointer. He was checking out one of the known doe beds just up the hill from that food plot. And I'd seen 3 or 4 other smaller bucks earlier in the season do that exact same thing. And it was so cool to see him follow that same pattern. As far as the last couple days, I haven't seen many, if any, mature bucks on camera, whether it's during the day or at night. And this weekend is traditionally when most of the does in the area are probably in heat. That means that the bucks are probably locked down with them. And with it being as warm as it is, I don't even know if I'm probably not going to hunt the next 2 days. I probably won't come out till probably the 16th. So this will probably be my last time out until then, and then next week looks a lot cooler, and I'll probably hit it hard again. Again, I have another buck tag, and I know there's at least one big buck out here, not counting anything that is cruising. Now the date, November 14th, was the day last year that I shot that big buck from my ground blind. I had to do so with a crossbow permit because I broke my arm, and the day was actually last year on this day was Thursday, but the date was tomorrow. And it's so amazing because the weather is so much different than it was back then. It was a cloudy day. I remember the temperatures were falling. I had mature bucks all over my trail cameras, and it's just not happening right now. And that's it. It is what it is. You got to follow the weather. What I did have on my trail camera was a bobcat. There's a bobcat that also lives here somewhere on the property, and it was really cool to see him again, or her. Really neat when they make an appearance. So anyway, we're gonna hang out. It is about 3:20 now. I actually got up here relatively early, but I was watching those little fawns for quite a while. So I'm just gonna hang tight. We'll see what shows up. At the very minimum, it is a very, very comfortable night. So I'll just enjoy sitting here and see what shows up. And I hope I have something to show you. Let's wait together. Well, I need to wrap up this hunt in my truck. I didn't get a chance to show you everything, but I literally didn't have a chance to do an update or do a closer up in the tree stand. I had the deer pretty close to me pretty much the whole night. You already saw what happened early, right as I got in the stand. And then I was tracking a doe and her fawn in the neighbor's cornfield, kind of walking down. I was really hoping that they'd be getting trailed by a buck, but it didn't happen. But they came right to my property and took the predictable path over to my thin strip and kind of hung out for a little bit. They kept looking around, but maybe they were just tired of getting harassed. I don't know. But essentially, I saw both doe groups tonight, so pretty cool to kind of talk about it and then see them both, with the exception being the doe from the twin fawn group. And I'm assuming that she was probably with a buck somewhere. So regardless, my biggest hope was that I wouldn't get busted tonight, and I was successful with that. I came pretty darn close to drawing back on that big doe. If she would have turned one way instead of the other, I would have had a chance to draw back, but I'm still up in the air as far as whether I want to do it this time or not. I'm going to take a couple days break here. I talked about the weather being pretty challenging. It's going to be warm, and this time of the ruts, what they call the lockdown, it seems like there's more does and heat than bucks need to worry about chasing, but at least the one that I saw tonight didn't seem to be in heat, or maybe she already got bred already. Who knows? But I'm going to take a couple days break, and then we're going to watch the trail cams and watch the weather and see if we have a favorable wind to jump back out here. So I'll get a couple other things done in the meantime. I hope you will check back. Looking forward to coming back out. We'll definitely take a shot. There's a couple big bucks still out here, so we'll see. Thanks again for watching. I will catch you next time, and you can once again watch Brad work.